Hello there. So we are working group 13. We focus on phototoxicity in the context of live fluorescence microscopy. This is chaired by Claire Brown from McGill University and myself, Philippe Laissue from the University of Essex in the UK. And we look in this group at the sources of phototoxicity, how to assess it, and what we can do to reduce it. And so in a bit more detail, things like, what is the sample type that you are using? What is the sample preparation that you are using, the label and the localization of that label? All of these do have an influence on that. Of course, measuring the incident light is, for an absolute quantification, very important. And so there we also look at what is the microscope modality, spinning disk or light sheet, what are you using? What is the intensity, wavelength, and all of those factors? And then more hidden sources such as illumination overhead. Of course, because this is about measuring incident light, we are very interested in what working group 1 has been coming up with. Another side of this is, of course, the assessment and how can you measure that effect? What is your biological readout of phototoxicity? And because there is not one size fits all that works for this, it's different approaches that can be used. And so we look at things like morphology or the dynamics and possible controls that you can have for various given experiments. How do you quantify that? And then how do you report that? That's also something we talk about. The terminology is important. We want to agree on a unified set of terms that we would recommend, generally recommendations for controls as well, and how can image processing, for example, also deep learning, be used to possibly further minimize phototoxicity, and are there some kinds of standards that we can recommend? Of course, we always then seek to share our findings. In general, raise awareness of phototoxicity because we think it is represented as a problem that can be used in blogs and peer-reviewed publications and reviews and so on. And basically just to come up as a group with recommendations and potential guidelines and best practices that we can give to users out there. One of the things that we, of course, want to achieve also is just to widen the participation, reach more research groups, imaging facility staff, and we would definitely like to have more manufacturers of optical instruments and software to be part of this, and then scientific publishers and manuscript and grant reviewers. And so, yes, we will have a breakout room in at this general meeting. And if this is something that interests you, then please join us then. Looking forward to seeing you there. And yeah, cheers.